Hi guys, welcome back to Marvel Contest of Champions. I'm really interested at the moment trying out a lot of synergies and seeing how they improve the way that champions work and operate. So for example, I did a video on Hulk and using a power gain team, as well as trying to try out the idea that we could keep the character constantly stunned at the point of using the L1. I got some great feedback from you guys and I will be following up that in a second video going forward. But today's video is all about Skill Domination. What's Skill Domination? Skill Domination is a synergy which is it's really helpful for bleed. So skill champions deal plus 20% bleed damage, and this synergy is quite good. I would probably say that I could make it really decent, but certain champions are better than others. So for example, this team is going to be situated around using the L1 of Agent Venom. Why the hell am I doing that, you ask? Well, it's all based on the fact that I'm going to use this on Realm of Legends Winter Soldier. Now, in order to use it on Realm of Legends Winter Soldier, it's a lot easier to evade out the L1, because the L2 is a lot more, I'd say, punishing for the point of evade purposes. So the L1 is the preferred one. So the whole idea behind using Agent Venom is to be able to evade out, so we take down that power bar, and then what we're going to be doing is then applying the L1. The L1 is the more powerful of the bleed. Oh, it's quicker, really quicker to put that bleed off without building the enemy character up with so much power. So that's what we're going to do. So first of all, this is the team that I'm going to be using for doing this. So to start off with, the reason I've got Quake is actually taking on the pointer from you guys. Somebody said, actually a couple of people I think said in the comment section of the last video, well, why don't you use the Agents of Shields level 2 or Agent of Shields 12% ability accuracy. So I'm gonna try and use that and see if that's kind of improves things. And the ability accuracy is, you know, I don't know much about it. I've not used it. I don't know if we'll see any kind of applications of it, but it's something that I may use in future, and I will be using in the future video with Hulk. But it's all about skill domination today, baby, and that is what we're going to see. We're going to first of all run a team that doesn't have any synergy groups, and we're going to see the extent of bleed that Agent Venom delivers on his L1. And obviously, like I said, evading out the L1 of the enemy is the preferred option here. And then what we're doing is applying the L1. So we're trying to take notice of how much the numbers are on the bleed, and then we're going to run this synergy group and see if there's been any improvements. So without further ado, let's just put in a random group of champions around Agent Venom, so to speak, or maybe some others, but it's got to be about the skill domination, because it's like skill, it's only skill, you can only use skill. So let's just use Agent Venom and get into it. These are the ragtag bunch of misfits that I've chosen to use, and it's all about looking at their bleeds. Each in turn I'm going to try out and see how good their bleed is. From the start point, we'll take some numbers down, some information, and then we'll see how it is when we put in the increased 20%. I think it's like 40% of the bleed that's there. So let's, without further ado, get it on. This is a rank 440 Black Panther. And to start point, it looks like 77 seems to be the extent of the bleed. So we're going to have to keep that in mind, 77. That's for the point of the test. See what I mean? That the L1 is the more useful of the two. Obviously, we're stacking quite well, which is nice. I see like little 33s coming in. I don't know if, again, that's to do with the special ability. We didn't evade that out quite well. But I do have to make sure I take a note of the power gain of the enemy. This is where Agent Venom is better for the situation, because he's got that tenacity, which allows him to avoid out certain extensive stun that the enemy character deals out. That was a terrible evade. But we do see that there's still a substantial amount of bleed coming off from the character, which I don't know. Obviously, if I play this character well, is this bleed gonna? We're up to 7 stackable bleeds. That's insane. Obviously, the extent of damage next time is what we need to do now. And it does come at a point that I think we need to kind of die and then try out some of the other characters, because Well, I've got the information I need now. 77 seems to be the constant with that. With Hawkeye, we're going to be... It's all about the L1 with this character. We don't get any kind of consistent bleed with like every hit. So what we need to do is... It's all on the L1. And we need to see how much damage. Right, hitting in. Boom, there we go. So bleed 181. 181, and it just kind of... It does last out quite a long time. We'll try again. And we'll try and build up now and applying the L1 again, which is good because the character's got power gain. Now on a 2 stackable, it is 244. So 181. You can get a good rhythm in, I think. That's 181 again, but I think that's then applied on with so 244. 181 and 244. Seems to be a very consistent thing now. It's a very impressive bleed off this L1. Now this is an awakened and it's a 330 Hawkeye. Reducing down. Ah, that's great with that. That power drain's fantastic. I really am looking forward to getting this character up a little bit further. I just need to grind out a bit more to get those tier 4 basics. Man, tier 4 basics seem to be the bane of my life. We got a really good consistent vibe with this character. As well, awakened at 5-star is something that I will be shooting for. Hopefully that can happen. I really will be, like, ability accuracy buff with this character. Like, what is that going to be like? Is that going to be really effective? Because we can, I tell you, we could go like a long time with this character. Obviously, we don't make any mistakes, then we're fine. But if we do make mistakes, then it is curtains. But I think that, right, we've 100 hits. Let's die now. Let's die. I've taken the information that I need to. Hawkeye is 181, sometimes 244. So that's good. Taking that information now onto the next character. Right, we're trying out Elektra now. Now this is all based on the by the way, as well, just to let everybody know, I am running deep wounds. So that'd probably be another thing as to how effective this is running. So off the bleed, we're looking at 93, but the length of time off that bleed is extensively more than that. Now obviously I need to evade out the L1 and then continue on in order to... Well, the problem is as well, why Hawkeye is better for the situation is there's kind of like longer gaps based on the power drain. There's a kind of a longer gap between the character picking up the L1 again, which is just like so annoying to get that L1 right in, and that's the one you have to evade. The L2 is, like I said, a lot less when it comes to desirable to evade out front, but 93 times still pretty impressive, and the length of time is again is just vitally important for the character being so good and effective. Oh, we got caught then. But that's right, I've taken the amount of information that I want to on this. Obviously, you want to see with regards to the ability accuracy, does it improve anything for certain skill-based champions? The weight and the extent of that bleed coming in, it is quite impressive. This is not a champion I particularly enjoy playing with. I don't know, I do enjoy the character, but only in arenas, like not in a kind of a competitive light. Alright, it's time to die now, and then go on to our final character, which is Agent Venom. This is our final test. This is Agent Venom. This is the one that should be the most interesting, because I really want to see how violent that L1 is violent on the character, and seeing the extent of the bleed. Right, here we go. Bleed is 325. That is meaty as hell. So darn meaty. And the extent of combos that we've got for the character already is so impressive. Now, I've already made a mistake. I've got the character up to the L2. And that is it's like such a big mistake. It just, see what I mean? Like the extent of projectiles coming at you is one of the things that's so frustrating about that. As soon as you, like, because you'll have to kind of go on just avoiding that L1 all the time. Like, again, I've nearly made the mistake again. And the bleed doesn't always drop, which is a bit disappointing. You'd expect, oh, come on, it'd be able to drop. But no, it didn't. Alright, can we do that? Another final test on the bleed. Tease it. Tease it. Oh dear, I've run into it. But the advantage is that bleed isn't so bad with using Agent Venom, because this signature ability allows for that to be taken off rather quickly, which is great. That bleed is phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. And one more for luck. Yep, 325. Right, I'm gonna get myself kind of like killed now, so to speak, as it's important. Oh, well, let's check them. Oh. Just to point out before I get into things, this is what the team is that I've set up. So it's got Quake. I don't have it 4-star, so I've got 3-star. All champions gain 12% ability accuracy. As you can see, we've got that through Hawkeye. This is the 5-star version. The next thing is the Skill Domination with Hawkeye 5-star and Black Panther 5-star. Obviously, you can play about with combinations. I don't have Black Panther Civil War at 4-star or at 5-star, so therefore this isn't really going to be... This is all about seeing if there's been any changes. Obviously, what I'm looking out for is a visual representation of that. So the changes in Black Panther's bleed to being not reading 77 but reading above. The same thing with regards to Hawkeye, 181 or 244, is it going to increase? Elektra, 93, is it going to increase? Agent Venom, 325, is it going to increase? These are things that I'm trying to see, has there been an increase? Now, if we don't see that, then let's just assume that the extent and length of the bleed, which is, let's say, the time the counter goes round, has it increased as well, or does it feel like it's been increased? Obviously, with most characters, you're not going to see a physical representation by adding a synergy group to see certain things like special attacks, 65% chance to inflict bleed, dealing 1949.2 direct damage over 4 seconds. Granted, if we could see this physically on a champion changing, then that number should increase, theoretically, by adding the percentage from the Skill Domination. You kind of get what my meaning about seeing something physical, like as a visual representation of the change with regards to adding that. So hopefully, maybe Kabam in the future could add something where, at the point of adding your synergy group in, that it changes statistics of your champions, which would be great. So I can see that what is affecting, what is changing. But without any kind of like more kind of mentioning, let's get into some battles. Our first test is Agent Venom's L1. And seeing if that gets any more increased bleed. Now, it is 325, so hopefully we can see a rapid increase in some way. Now, again, problems are that we need to make sure that we get hit by the L1 in order to avoid a significant amount of damage. So here's our L1 first off, and we hit in, and it's 389, so it has increased. Not by a huge amount. It does seem that it's very kind of similar to how it was. Very difficult to tell with regards to the ability accuracy. And this is a terrible game by me. But the ability accuracy, does that mean anything? Has it helped anyone? I have seen a few more criticals. I've been critting a little bit more. I don't know if you've seen before. Like, I remember not getting quite as many crits. And we want to get hit by the L1. Hopefully I can get another bleed in. That was a parry then. Yeah, 389 seems to be what it is. Not a huge increase on there, but I suppose every little counts when it comes to taking down enemy characters. It doesn't matter if there's been a substantial increase, just all you need to know is there's been an increase. So we'll just finish off a little bit more. put in another L1 just to kind of see that we can do a good amount of bleed. But like I said, there's been lots of, unfortunately, again, we didn't get a bleed. Right, let's finish off and move on to another character. Obviously, tenacity helps out because it reduces the amount of bleed, but let's go and do another character now. Hawkeye's up to the plate. Good start, good parry. We want to build up to that L1. We want to see if that 181 and that 244 are apparent when we hit. So here we go. So we've got 217 coming off there, which isn't bad. That's an improvement on the last one. Can we get anything more? No, 217. And I don't know if this is based on the ability accuracy. I think it's all based on the skill domination. I'm going to put it down to. We're going to put in again. Now, just to kind of like confirm why I'm only doing the L1 is based on the extent of power gain off the enemy. So if we kind of like if we kind of hit in an L2, it's just the extent of time that I have to then wait. It's like a quicker amount of time that I have to wait before. Like I'll just kind of put the point in. So there we go. There we go. Put in the L2, but now the enemy champion is on his L2 at the moment. Yes, there's an extent amount of bleed caused, but the champion is now on his L2, which is all based on like the L1, constantly putting the L1 in, constantly power gain, so I don't die as quickly. But we've got the information that we need. We saw that that increased to 217 based off before. I'm not sure what the 244 was all about, but we'll take the 217, the 181, and the 217 for the champ. This one's Elektra. Again, same thing, same principle. We're going to hit him with the L1, and the score was 93 on the bleeder meter. So let's hope we get a little bit more this time. I'm thinking over 100. Must be 112. And it is 2 stacks. So that again, like the length of time. Can we put something on top of it? There we go. Not a huge amount, but still, it's going to be very nice and very tasty as well. We've already taken quite a significant like health pool away from the enemy. Damn, I messed up then. Shouldn't have messed up again. But it's all about the bleed, man. It's all about the bleed that we were testing out. The 112. Back in again. If this ability accuracy is actually helping me out, then I really need to try this on other champions. It's a shame I don't have another like skill dominance or skill domination, even skill domination team to set up with this. So like a crazy amount of like using it like a 4-star Civil War. I didn't even get my words out now. Black Panther Civil War. If I've got that at 4-star and then with my 4-star Hawkeye, then create some kind of crazy skill domination team. No bleed that time. Character gains up a lot of health, a lot of power. Sorry, a lot of power. One, 1, 2. It's just a very good and consistent bleed. Tiny bit of lag there, but it's not going to deter us. Deep Wounds, I think, is really helping out this character be a little bit more effective than she normally is. Well, most of them, really. We've got the enemy character up down to his L2, which is not really the preferred scenario. We would prefer to get the character still on that L1 constantly, but we do need now to die because I need to finally test out Black Panther. This is the one, that next one I'll be like more interested in. So let's go and test him out. Final champion to test is Black Panther. Why haven't I used the 5-star one? Well, it's based on the fact that Lacerate is not awakened on that character. And it is on this Black Panther. This is a 440 version. And I'm sure that we're going to see some great things. So starting off, we want to see increases of from 77 that the character had previously. And we've already got that. Is that 92? Wow. Already get them up to like 5. Now we want to evade this. Well, we didn't evade it there. And that's not very good for myself. Try and get him up to that L1. There we go. Get a bit of momentum now, because that was not a very good play. Again, not a very good play. I'm just not reading the character particularly well. But the extensive amount of bleed, that's just like the rate of bleed. It's just so, and like the stacking of it is just, oh, so tasty. That is just absolutely tasty. We will take this damage, obviously, but that bar's gone down quite fast, even with the extent of bleed that we've been applying. Look at it, it just, again, just mounts up. Ugh, I keep catching the end of it. That is not good. I need to do a hard evade away. Practice what I preach. There we go. There's a hard evade. 6 stackable. I wonder if there's a cutoff point for it. Just look at that bleed. I really would like to get this character up higher. Like, this may be my next rank 5. I know I'd say that a lot of people may disagree with me on that, but you know, like, look at it. 6 stacks. Look at it, just mount up. The problem is, if I didn't play so sloppy, I probably would have been able to apply a little bit more of the bleed and get more of a kind of a thorough test of this. But it's, I tell you, I am so impressed. It's so impressive just to put that extent of bleed in. Just avoid out that. Get back into it again. It'll be interesting to see how much damage we've actually done on the enemy. Which obviously, until the point we die, we can't really find out. The bleed's increased. The bleed it's just increased. It's gone up like higher. It's just like gone up. So, look at all that bleed. It's just 7 now. Wow. Obviously, this was like lacerates an amazing awakened ability on the character, but you know, the extent of the kind of increase has made it just like so jaw-droppingly amazing. But to see the extent of the bleed that the enemy's getting, it is just so impressive to see. I really hope, and maybe some people can send in some footage of, did we just 8 stacks of bleed? 8 stacks of bleed. That's impressive. Obviously, I can't build that up again. That's gonna take a little bit of luck, and a little bit of ingenuity. But there we go. We died, and that I don't care about that. The fact is, we did an extensive amount of bleed damage. Obviously, it's increased exponentially on before. We saw numbers of like 93, and at times it was going up to like 100 or over 100. That's really the thing that I want to try and do next time, is get a skill domination team that is... I have the 4-star version of the Civil War Black Panther. That would probably make a big difference to that. Agent Venom I found very impressive with this, but like, look, that's nearly... What's that? Like... nearly 200, well, no, it goes give or take 200, but like 180,000 damage, and most of that is from a bleed. Imagine this character a little bit further on. I'm talking like a little bit more awakened than the character is now. The character will be able to do like a significant amount of bleed damage, and I really hope in the future to do something with the Skill Domination team and hopefully get that elusive 4-star Civil War Black Panther. Really hope to get that next. No, not quite sure if the ability with regards to the synergy off of Quake. I'm not sure if the synergy for her, which is the ability enhancements, the ability accuracy at 12%. I'm not sure if that is a big factor of the improvements. Either way, I really want to test out some more stuff with this in the Skill Domination team, because it can be really impressive. So the changes that we saw was Black Panther had 77 to start off with, then had 93, and sometimes was hitting like 100. And obviously the stacks are just there, the stacks in any case. Hawkeye I was very impressed with. We saw 181 and at times 244, but we're not going to take that figure into consideration. We're going to look at the 181 and 217, so we did see a kind of increase there. Elektra from 93 to 112, and then Agent Venom went from 3 to 5 to 389, so a really substantial gain by 60 on that champion. Obviously, don't take a lot of it to kind of... We were looking for visuals, okay? We're looking for visual improvements, which we saw. I was really happy to see visual improvements, because certain characters and their abilities, some of it is not physically seen. Obviously, the length of time that the bleed runs on the enemy is still applicable to what we don't see. So, for example, on abilities of the Lacerate, it's 419.32 direct damage over 7 seconds. Obviously, it's not going to say 419 and it's going to circle out. It's going to show like multiple numbers, so it's going to be like 419 and it's like divided by how many times you see it, which could be like an exponential amount of times. You could say that if you take 77 and then divide it by 419 and divide it by 77, that's the amount of 77s that you're going to see. But either way, like I said, I was looking for visual changes to the Skill Domination synergy being applied, so we got to see it. So excellent, I'm really happy with that. Hopefully you enjoyed this video about Skill Domination, and hopefully I can do a larger team, like I said, with that 4-star Black Panther Civil War. So that should be good. So anyway, thanks very much. If you did enjoy this video, hit that like button, maybe share it with somebody that's interested in Skill Domination and bleeding a lot. And obviously, like I said, I ran deep wounds with this. I also had a 440 Black Panther standard, the OG one, a 330 Hawkeye, and then I had a 440 Agent Venom, and also the Elektra was a 440 as well, to give you an idea of what type of champions I was running. So thanks again, and catch you on the flip side. Bye bye.